I feel like there's this idea that the gender wage gap is something out there that we need to fight, that someone is the holder and the definer of men shall make more than women. But I carry a different perspective, and that is what I want to talk about today, both my perspective where the gender wage gap actually comes from and what we can do about it. So stay tuned for more. Welcome to Your Business is Your Spiritual Path, the podcast for business owners who are ready to make more money and have more fun without doing more work. After all, you didn't zip on this skin suit to hustle and grind. It's okay to have fun. I'm your host, Andrea Andre. On this show, I share spiritual concepts, universal principles, and energy alignment techniques that will help you embody your next best self so you can thrive in your life and in your business. Let's get into it. In full disclosure, I'm recording this at 2:30 in the morning on a Saturday. One of the hard things that I have found about being a coach, having content, being a teacher, is sometimes inspiration strikes at a time that is not very convenient for life. And sometimes for me, when it's in the middle of the night, I cannot go back to sleep until I get this off my chest. So this will probably be a shorty episode so I can go back to bed. And excuse the party girl voice. It's not party girl voice. It's literally I just woke up voice. I'm going to do my best here. We're going to get through this episode. It's going to be really juicy, and I promise you're going to get a lot out of it if you stick with me. I'm going to kick it off with a visualization that I have offered in some of my speaking opportunities lately. If you're in a place where you can close your eyes, go ahead and close your eyes. If you're driving, then just imagine. See how this works for you, but please do not close your eyes. And take a few deep breaths. I always say, can you feel your tummy expand from the inside? Because what that does is that gets your awareness out of your head and into your body. And into your body is where you get a lot of intuitive information, a lot of unconscious information, a lot of information that is stored in your cellular memory down there. So this is a question that I've asked typically a room full of women. Every now and then there's been a random man in there, which I love too, by the way. But I want you to ask yourself, what is the limit to the amount of money you're allowed to make in a year? What is the limit to the amount of money that you're allowed to make in a year? And go with whatever the first answer is that pops in. This is not a mental exercise. This is an automatic exercise. So what is the number that you get stored in your body? And I'd love to know if you got a number. Some people don't get a number, and that's okay too. But a lot of people, they do get a number, and they realize that they've been unconsciously limiting themselves. I remember when I did this exercise for myself, I was shocked to realize that I, at a cellular level, thought that I was only capable and allowed to make a very low six-figure salary in a year. And that's because that's the salary that I got up to in one of my jobs before I quit to go to grad school and then make less money. But I had been unconsciously holding that number in my energy as this invisible glass ceiling for how much I was allowed to make. So if you did get a number, what I want you to do is imagine that that number is in a glass ceiling above you and shatter that glass ceiling because you're allowed to make more, I promise. The next visualization I want you to try, this is always interesting for me too. Imagine that whatever your dream job is, whatever you're doing, it's your dream activity, it's your dream location, how you want to work, hybrid, in the office, traveling, dream boss, dream benefits, all of those things are perfect. And whatever your dream salary is, imagine that someone knocks on your door, knock, 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 and you open the door and they say, hey, guess what? I am offering you your dream job, the exact job that you want, but I want to give you twice the amount of money that you want, twice your dream salary. How does your body respond? And actually, I just felt it in my body too, like a little, oh my gosh. Where a lot of people go with this one is, well, I don't deserve that. I didn't earn that. I need to work harder in order to be okay and worthy of earning that. And that right there is the problem. That is the source of the gender wage gap. There is no one person, one holder, one law that says women can only make, I forget what it is, it's around 70 cents to the dollar that men can make. There is nothing written anywhere But the out there, those quote unquote statistics of how much money a woman is making compared to a man, it is all a reflection of our collective in heres. Ladies, we carry in our DNA, in our bodies, cellular memory of times when women were not worthy. We were told that we were not worthy of making money. We were not equal to men. I am really bad at history, but I know that there were times women could not vote. Women could not have their own bank accounts. Like, don't ask me which years those were allowed to happen, because I've never been able to remember a year in history, a date in history. I was always so bad at history. I can never even remember like left brain, right brain. I know one of them is analytical and one of them is more intuitive. And for the life of me, I can never tell you which is which. What I do know is there have been times in history for a long period of time when women have been oppressed compared to men. And science has shown that we carry the memory of trauma, of oppression, of tough situations in our DNA. This is called generational trauma. It gets passed down. It determines how our genes get expressed. A lot of people in my community like to talk about generational trauma being passed down for up to 14 generations, which is a lot of generations. And when I looked that up, that was a study on roundworms. So I take that one with a slight grain of salt, just because I'm like, how close to humans are roundworms? I don't really know. But it does look like, in studying humans and studying the history of enslaved people, then there's high likelihood that it's at least for hundreds of years that generational trauma can get passed down. And so if we think back, ladies, to, again, how women were treated, how we were told we're worthy compared to men, it has not been pretty. And a lot of us carry that in our unconscious. So if we think about our unconscious, I think about it as computer programs, computer codes that dictate how we see the world, but they're not at our level of conscious awareness. So unless we slow down and do something like I took you through at the beginning of the podcast, where we do a meditation, or we do something to actually see what's in there, then we're not aware of these computer programs, these instructions that are driving our life. And these sort of instructions, this sort of cellular memory of low self-worth, right, is going to then dictate the jobs we feel like we can go after, how much money we feel like we can ask for. It will dictate if we feel unworthy of asking for more, then we won't ask for more. And so these are the things in my world that are actually responsible for the gender wage gap. So a system is simply a perpetuation of ideas, of consciousness. When ideas change, when consciousness changes, when what we believe about ourselves, what we stand for, when that changes, systems are going to change. And so most people have it wrong. We think we need to fight the system. We need to go out there and we need to change the system. But the system cannot change until, ladies, we decide to make a change within ourselves first. This doesn't start at a system level. This doesn't start at a collective level. This starts at an individual level. When one woman goes first and says, you know what? I am worthy of more. I am taking a stand. I am going to start acting like I am worthy of more. I am going to start asking for more because I know I am worthy of more, and I am going to make this my way of life. One person takes a stand, and then the next person sees life differently, and then they decide they can take a stand. But it's really hard to do if no one goes first. I like to share this analogy of, let's say we're all just swimming in a pool of mud. And that's all we've ever known. That's all we think we're capable of. That's all we think is even available to us, is this pool of mud. Well, somehow someone finds their way out of the mud and into this pristine, gorgeous infinity pool. It's clean, it's warm, it's crystal clear. And then suddenly people say, ooh, well, how'd she get there? How is she capable of that? How is she swimming in that crystal clear pool? And then they get curious, and then they start to ask questions. And then more and more people start to find their way out of the mud into that crystal clear pool. It's because someone went first and became the example for what was possible in their life and anybody else's life. So if we want to impact, if we want to start to make more money, close the wage gap, then I like to say the easy thing to do is to try to fight something. We take a stand for something, but that's easy because one, it doesn't actually work, but a lot of people feel better about themselves because you're taking a stand for something, but what they're doing is actually avoiding the hard work of looking within themselves. Most people will try tooth and nail, they will fight tooth and nail to change everyone else around them, but they are unwilling to look within and change themselves. But I tell you, I will say it over and over and over, the only thing you can change, the only person you can impact is yourself, how you see the world, what you believe you're worthy of, what you're taking a stand for. And so for most people, it is easier for them to feel like they're making progress because they're fighting for change and they're trying to get someone else to change their mind instead of going within and saying, am I acting as if I'm worthy? Am I asking for more money because I know that I'm worthy? And I know I have done this on myself. This is deep, deep work. When I talk about worthiness in my speeches, it's a harder one to talk about because there isn't some written thing that tells us how worthy or unworthy we are. There is no outer sign necessarily, because right before I talk about worthiness, I start to talk about success and how women have defined their success by our achievements, and our achievements are very outward facing. I can tell you what college degrees I have. I can tell you what projects I have successfully completed. Like, my achievements are very outward. My worthiness is not outward. This is deep inner stuff. And when I go in and I say, ooh, I don't feel worthy of making that amount of money, and then I have to do the hard thing of feeling all the pain, all the shame of that unworthiness of the generations before me, so I can liberate that energy from my body, so then I can decide that I am worthy. And then I do things like I raise my rates, I ask for more money. When someone tells me no, I don't lower my rates just to please somebody. I hold strong boundaries. I invest in higher end things because I'm worthy of higher end things. I don't go chasing deals, chasing coupons, chasing clearance sales because I don't feel worthy of having nice things. Right? There's a lot that it takes to start to reprogram yourself to feel worthy, to start to feel capable, to start to trust yourself with money. That's another one that's come up for me. I've found many times where I'm on the verge, my business is at a point where it's ready to make money, I'm ready to have clients, I know that I'm a kick-ass coach, but inside I'm like, ooh, if I make money, I don't trust myself with it because I have a history of poor spending decisions, right? And women, again, generationally, we have not been trusted with money. We could not have our own bank account. And so that is the sort of thing that then comes out in my actions. And if I want different results in my life, I need to reprogram that inner computer. I need to look within, disentangle, cut all the wires, all this unworthiness bullshit that's in there that tells me I'm not worthy of making more money. I'm not as worthy as men. I have a limit to how much I'm allowed to make. I have to rewire, release all of that, and take a stand for being worthy. And that's hard to do. It's actually, once you get into it, it's a lot easier because, again, if you listened to my It's Time to Break Up with Fear episode, I know that those are patterns. They're not me. And so I've separated myself from the pattern. And I do that so that way I don't identify with it, because if I think, oh, I'm the one that's unworthy, then it's a lot harder to disentangle from I'm noticing a pattern of unworthiness. And a lot of people confuse the two, and I'm realizing even in this episode, I'm using the I am unworthy, when really what I'm doing is defining a pattern of unworthiness stored in my body, right? But that's how tightly knit these things are. And that's where becoming aware of you, yourself, your actions, your consciousness, it will make huge changes in your life and will allow you to take huge strides, huge jumps forward when you can start to learn how to look within, disentangle yourself from all the patterns that you carry, and then start to take action from a different place. So let's act for a second as if you were worthy of whatever you wanted. And we can start with money. So you're worthy of an unlimited amount of money. What would feel good? What would support your lifestyle? And not in like an ego way. A lot of people look for money to fill holes and gaps in their lives because they don't feel good enough about themselves. So they think, I'll feel better about myself if I get the yacht. I'll feel better about myself once I get my lips done. I'll feel better about myself once I do XYZ. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the lifestyle that would truly light you up, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to have fun. We're here to play. And so what job would truly light you up where you would feel totally in service? How much money would you want to make so that way you would feel well compensated and in abundance for that job and be able to live the lifestyle that you want? Again, this isn't excess. There's a difference between excess and feeling good. I remember walking through what do they call it? When someone dies and they're an estate sale. And it was this guy, the house sold for over $1 million. He had this huge house, basketball court, indoor basketball court. Amazing, huge house. Every nook and cranny was full of stuff. And it wasn't hoarder mentality, but he definitely was a collector of a lot of stuff. And as I walked through that house, I was thinking, man, what was it all for? Now he's dead. Now he's gone. Did this actually bring enjoyment to his life? So for me, there's a difference between a collection of stuff versus walking through a house that feels light, that feels beautiful. Maybe it's full of plants. Maybe there's a lot of windows. You can have an elevated life without having all the material stuff. So I want to make sure that there's a difference here. How would your life look where you would just feel woken up? You'd feel supported. You'd feel inspired. Again, not the stuff, but how would it feel, right? You're allowed to have that. You're allowed to have connections, have friends, support your body in the way that would support your body, travel in the way that would support your travel. What would your lifestyle look like? I kind of forgot the original question. But again, think it was, you're allowed to have all of those things. If you decided you were worthy of all of those things, there we go, found it. If you decided you were worthy of all of those things and you didn't have to work any harder, you didn't have to put in more hours at work, like how would your life look different? How would your actions look different? What would you ask for that's different? That is how easy it can be. And I say easy with an asterisk behind it, because yes, it can simply be a choice. One day you can wake up and say, you know what, I'm worthy of more, and I'm going to start acting and behaving as if I am worthy of more. For some people it is that easy, and they're able to much easier move past the stories of their past, whatever is stored in their genes. But for me and for the clients that I've worked with so far, it has been both that easy and complicated, because again, our unconscious is deep and it is vast. And we carry the stories of the generations that came before us. We carry the stories of what we were told as kids about what we're worthy of, what money is. It becomes a process to start to notice those bit by bit and start to disentangling from them. I have a background in continuous improvement, and the idea there in a corporate setting was really tiny changes done every day eventually lead to big results. And so it was not about making big changes all the time. It was about just finding one tiny thing that you can change every day that over time would add up. You would create momentum. One day you would wake up and look around and realize things felt totally different, but you have no idea how you got there. And it's really because you took a lot of little tiny changes over time. And that's how this process has worked for me over and over. Do I feel worthy of my rates in my business? Do I feel worthy of asking for the speaking opportunity? Do I feel worthy of being in this particular audience? And so it is a step-by-step process where over time, I know my North Star. I know my North Star is I'm worthy of whatever the hell I want just because I choose to be worthy of that. And it's a daily process, a daily questioning, a daily noticing, a daily rewriting of those things where I'm choosing not to be worthy just because of my unconscious patterns, noticing the patterns, rewriting the patterns, and then choosing that I am worthy of the thing. So, ladies, and any supportive men who might be listening, this is how we close the gender wage gap. And certainly we can make it easy on ourselves, right? The easier thing to do would be if someone would just come in and create a law and say, all right, ladies, now you're worthy. Everyone gets equal pay. But things like that are akin to those lottery winners who win a bunch of money and then they lose it all. It's because their energy could not hold that level of money. They felt unworthy of it. They didn't trust themselves with it. If that is the pattern in their body, they're going to piss it all away. And so, ladies, even if we make more, and I've been here, I can speak from experience, when you make more, but you feel unworthy of it, or you feel like you can't trust yourself with it, you will not make good choices with it. I spent my whole paycheck pretty much every month. If it wasn't for my retirement that automatically put things in my 401k, I was not saving any money. And that's because when I dug into it, I didn't trust myself in having it. I didn't trust the systems around me. I was very short-term thinking instead of long-term thinking. So if we just were to get a pile of money, that would not solve the problem, because with our patterning, we would find different ways to piss it away. And I hate to be the one to be blunt, but that is what we would do, because we have not done the work to feel worthy of having it and holding it. So ladies, the best thing you can do for yourself is start to work on your own patterning, your own worthiness, your own ability to hold money. Start to question how much you feel like you're capable of making, and start to challenge that. Start to act as if you're capable and worthy of more. And that is how we start to change things, because your life is a reflection of you. The more you take a stand for you, the more you will start to make more in your life, because you are the creator of your life experience. So what that looks like is unexpected money coming in from places, or salary raises that you are not expecting. Or it could even be that you no longer resonate with the job. But some people lose jobs and they don't understand. It's because they've taken a stand for more in their energy, and they need to shake off the old in order to make space for something newer and better to come in. It all starts with you taking a stand in your energy, and then the universe shifts to match the stand that you take in your energy. So you go first, and then you unlock the codes for how you did that. You can teach other people. You can be the example of, hey, guess what? I'm swimming in clear waters, ladies. There's a better way. You don't have to swim in the mud. We all start to change it by going within first. That is the only way we can make any sort of change in this world. Again, stop fighting. Fighting is the quote unquote easy thing. We think we're making progress, which makes us feel good about ourselves, but it's actually not progress, because we're not changing our energy and what we stand for. And the outer world cannot shift until we shift our inner worlds. So ladies, I hope from this you got inspired, you got lit up, you are like, hell yes, I am going to start to do this work, or you at least the seed has been planted. I know it is hard to decide to go within. The inner journey is a big one. Everybody that I've talked to that is on this journey has said it is the hardest, most rewarding thing you will ever do for yourself. But I understand the outside in perspective. I stood on the outside for years knowing that I needed to make changes in my life, but I was too scared to do it because of fear of the unknown. Maybe that'll be a future episode at some point, what fear of the unknown actually is and how to get through it. But I promise, when you finally say enough is enough, and you take a stand and you start to act differently, decide differently, choose differently, your world will start to change, and it will change for the better, and then you will change the world around you for the better. If there's anything I can do to help you with that, I would love to support you in that. My private coaching right now is open for new clients. I will leave a link below on where you can find that. And another thing that I'm running right now, if you listen to this live, I'm starting, I think July 10th, 2024, is a business accelerator that I'm calling Raise Your Rates. And so from the outside, the point is really for you as a business owner, or anybody who makes wages would benefit from this too. From the outside, what it looks like is being able to ask for more money, raise your rates, charge more money. And from the outside, it seems like it should be as simple as I'm going to log into the website and change my numbers. But if it was that easy, why haven't you done it yet? And you haven't done it yet because of this unconscious programming that you have running under the surface. This feeling of, I don't feel worthy of charging that. Oh my gosh, what if the clients can't pay for that? Who's going to pay for that? And who's going to pay for that is a question that really from within is like, do I actually feel worthy of making that amount of money? Do I feel like I can actually deliver that result? It's all back an inner reflection. We're going to start to disentangle from some of these unworthiness stories. We're going to start to disentangle some of your money stories, some of the old bullshit about you have to hustle to make money, money doesn't grow on trees, you have to work hard. That's not how it works from an energetic perspective. We're going to start to rewire those. And I'm going to teach you how to start to embody the person who decides that they can charge more, because that's where it starts. You need to decide you can charge more before people will pay for your rates. Most people think, oh, I will charge more when I've done more. I will charge more once I reach X, Y, and Z. But guess what? The path to reaching X, Y, and Z is to start to do the thing now. Start to be the person that can do the thing now. So 5 quick modules, 2.5 weeks. It's going to be really fun. Of course, the outward goal is to raise your rates in your business, but the inner goal is I want you to feel damn good about those rates, and I want you to see the value in yourself for calling in those rates. So there will be inner transformation as well as the outer result of making more money and asking for more money. So if that is something you are interested in, right now, this week, it is on Early Bird. I will leave a link below with a little thank you coupon for listening to my podcast for you to sign up. And I would love to have you in there because that is where change happens. That is where transformation happens. And we are going to have fun. You are going to get some of my magic sprinkled in, and really my containers, when people come into my containers, because of my energy, again, I've gone first. The energy I hold is one of transformation. My energy will call you up to a higher energy. And so it's not even just going through this exercise, but when you go through this exercise with me, different things will happen because of the energy and the vibration that I exude. So I would love to have you in that if that is calling to you. And of course, all the other things. If you benefited from this podcast, please share it. Share it with a friend, share it with someone that would visit, share it on your stories, share it in your social media. Right now, I'm not paying to get the word out, so I would love support with organic reach. You can always subscribe, download the episodes, rate and review. Those are all the things you can do to support the podcast. And find me on social media. LinkedIn at Andrea Andry, 2 E's. Instagram at Moms Gone Quantum, or you can join my inner circle email list, andreaandry.com/email. Those are all the places I play right now. And thank you for being here on my, well, it's not 2:30 in the morning. Now it is 3:07 in the morning. Thank you for coming to my 3 o'clock in the morning TED Talk. I will be back next week.